deliver it little later, and I had agreed. And this meeting is now being live streamed, which is very good. So we have Sashman, Shishlipta, Vaishnavi, Vinod, many others, and we have our fantastic Prem Sai, who is our backbone, and he helps us all the with all the scheduling. He does a lot of things. It's just a long list. So we'll go ahead and get started, guys. Today we have Parul Singla with us, and Parul Singla has successfully cleared not only DP-600, which is the Fabrics Analytics Engineer, but she has also cleared the DP-700, which is the data engineering side of Fabrics. So she is probably going to show her face and let us know some secrets. And these secrets will be about, how to prepare for the exam, what topics are important, and what are some of the tips that she might want to give us, what part did she find easy or difficult, things like that. So, whatever comes to your mind regarding that certification, you can talk about it, and then you will get a chance to talk to her about anything related to fabric, right? Because she has done both. So, having said that, let's bring in Parul Singla from Bangalore.
Hi
Welcome,
everyone,
Parul.
good evening.
Yay! How was your day, Parul?
My day was quite lined up.
Yeah, I can understand. I mean, because you're, but thank you for doing this because you're not only working hard during the office hours, but you're taking time for mentoring people in the COE, helping younger people, writing great articles. So thank you for being an active contributor, Parul. Um, so, Parul, as you already are aware that we'll do it in free flow style. Um, so I'm going to ask you a few questions that people have sent me or I've heard from people, and then we'll open it up to the audience who wants to ask anything.
Sure.
So, Parul, I mean, to start with, I mean, I normally ask what got you into data engineering? What motivated you particularly towards? I know that you have quite an experience with Databricks as well as Fabrics. So, what was the motivator behind this?
So I have been associated with the data journey since long, and it's I think almost 4 years now that I'm doing the data visualization part. But recently, I have also stepped into the transformation aspect. I love how the raw data turns into insights, decisions, and how it actually shows what is the real impacting. So as I was on to the visualization end, I wanted to also understand what goes into the transformation on the data from getting it raw files to the end product of the data, wherein it is, like consumed directly into the visualization tools, and it's like, like a ready-made product for the leadership people to view it.
So you
So I
wanted to
just
do the
want,
complete thing end to end. You did not want to
yes.
leave it in between. You want to capture the data right from the source to the visualization stage. Wow. Alrighty. So Parul, I mean, you have been a team lead. You've worked in various capacities. Um, what's the what, Tell me one fun thing about data engineering role. Anything that comes to your mind, which is fun, because there are a lot of serious parts to data engineering, but there has to be some fun part as well.
So, like the fun part that I like it, like always unique to every individual, but the most fascinating thing that I find is, like doing the transformations. Like for example, when you look at what is the output that's needed and what's how the raw data has come out to us, the logical building and the logical thinking that goes behind on how to produce that result is the most fascinating aspect of the data engineering that, like pulls me into data engineering.
So Parul, if I was a beginner, let's say, right, and I come, I say, Parul ji, please tell us how to prepare for this. I have done. I'm a person who has done Excel, SQL, Power BI. I might have touched upon a little bit of Tableau or Onlooker or whatever else. But I'm totally new to this. I've been working as a data analyst or a business analyst, and I want to improve my career chances. I know that the world is all moving towards fabric or data bricks kind of stuff, and then that forms a base for all the AI in future or now. So what would you how do I begin preparing for the fabric course or the fabric exam, both of them? So talk to us in a free flow format about whatever you feel is the truth that you want to share with people.
So honestly, the question that has come up was actually the question that I had in my mind. Like few months back, wherein I was always okay, visualization is enough, but what next? Because I do not want to be left behind into the world of AI and the co-pilot that's coming up. So the next part that like I came across was the technologies, just to name Azure, Databricks, Fabric, and then that's what fascinated me. That okay, there's something called Azure, there's something called Databricks, there's something called Fabric, and then I started exploring things. Like what all is there, what is the cloud platform, how it is orchestrated, like how is the Mendelian architecture, like that is usually referenced to in the LinkedIn post. So those were the connector points that I came across on the LinkedIn, that okay, people are moving towards this. Maybe this is something that new is coming up in the market. So I researched and I understood that, to start with it, I had two sources, I would say. One
Hmm.
was the Fabric Bootcamp that I have joined with Surya as the instructor from the
Right.
COE group. And it was really helpful because for the fabric part, it is a very new technology. And when you go to the documentation, that was my second source, wherein I'm reading the Microsoft documentations of it. So when you join that boot camp, so with Surya, it was not only just theoretical, it was the practical implementation of the projects that we have done, implementing the projects right from the scratch to building an end-to-end pipeline. So that's how reading the documentation and implementing it in real life helped me understand how the exact transformations and how the data insights are formulated at a data architecture level.
So, some people might ask, hey, you have YouTube, you could have gone to YouTube, you could have gone to XYZ sources, you could have gone to Udemy maybe. I don't know if Udemy has a course on it yet or not. I haven't
Well,
seen
of
one. But
course, there are many
Coursera.
free
So why
sources.
would why would you want to do a boot camp in a case study style? How does that kind of thing help anyone?
See, when you have the free time on your hands, you're always like you put it towards, you tend to procrastinate. That's a common and a basic human nature. But when you have a live class with an instructor, they make sure you follow it up to the classes. You have that on your mind that okay, yes, I need to do this so that I don't have a big backlog to clear it up. Plus,
Hmm.
doing it via videos and doing it via instructor has a huge lot of difference. Trust me, guys, it's not easy to like just listen to the videos because there's no doubt clearing sessions that you can have. But here in the group,
Hmm.
you can ask your peers, you can ask your instructor, you can ask the leads. They would be always there to help you. So that course is a case study based. So it helped me, like to understand how the real time scenarios are, like the questions that come up into the interviews, or the case studies are not actually just case studies. They are the real time scenarios that come across us when we work in a workplace. Like if you go through few of my LinkedIn posts, you might also be able to relate how these case studies have come up.
Gotcha. Having talked about your LinkedIn post, may I ask you, because a lot of people may be having questions later on, and I usually, if you can just display your LinkedIn so that people can connect with you,
Sure.
if they need any help or any guidance or mentoring.
Sure, I'll just share my screen in a minute. Give
Sure.
me one
Because a lot of times people reach out to us and say, hey, I was watching the recording, I couldn't attend because of XYZ reason. Could you please share the LinkedIn? And then sometimes we forget posting. And
Sure. I'm also sharing the link in the chat box, so you guys can also refer to there.
Gotcha.
And just, I'm also sharing my screen. Give me 1 second. Just, I think it has to be allowed by the hosts. Actually, no, this is it. Oh my God.
Fantastic. It's almost coming up on the screen. Thank you, Parul. Um, Parul, one of the things that many people tell me, and I've had personal experience that you guys in the boot camp, especially offered by COE, you do some of the case studies. Can you, for the sake of the beginners who are probably joining us for the first time or who will join in future, can you like at a very high level uh, talk to us about those cake? You know what are those case studies are? I
So,
don't
case
want you to
study.
go into the details of the projects for the sake of time, but just talk to us about, or if you have your own portfolio somewhere, if you can showcase
Sure.
like
I do have my
just
portfolio handy. Uh,
sure.
so, 1 second. So, these are the different projects, like if I have to say that what all case studies and projects that I've gone through and what we
Gotcha.
have covered in the boot camp. So just to show you one of it, it was like, let's say, it was the challenge that came across to us, that what was the company facing on an overall level, that they could not, like refresh the data at a timing level due to the fabric capacity issues, and like there were so many dashboards out there, and the lag was by like exceeding by 4 hours also. So that is not an appropriate time for a client or for a network, for an MNC to work, wherein your just loading time takes 4 hours. So we had also implemented a solution in the case study wherein we designed a activity to go through it. How, like how we read the data, how we transform it, and how do we do the incremental load, so that the next time it's not doing the full load, it's just adding to the new data that's being added. Then I've
So this
also
is yes, this is pretty much like a real time situation in
yes,
the real office environment. These kind of things happen, and you are building a solution to it together. So,
yes.
Parul, was this when you do these kind of live projects? Uh, does it help in any way for the 600 or the 700 exams? You become more familiar. What really happens? I mean, how do these case studies help during the exams?
These case studies are just not case studies, Arun, to like emphasize on. These are actually the topics on which these case studies are based upon. Like the root basic fundamentals that I would say. So you are able to cover up what is a meta-driven pipeline, how is like the data transforming from a Mendelian architecture, from right from the raw form to the bronze layer to the silver layer to the gold layer, and that is how you come across such topics. You read those documentations, you understand what's being like taught in the fabric boot camp. You do these projects. There is a lot of these topics that come across in DP-600 and DP-700. So the
So
fabric boot camp
how do you
really helped
cover
me.
the like, I mean, I have heard terms like white transformation, narrow transformation, data skew, and there are many topics. Like even the ordering, Z ordering, V ordering. There are so many terms: data lake, data mesh, data this and data that. Um, so how? I mean, while you're doing projects, I think every week you're doing couple projects and you have assignments. There are two questions that come from that. Simple questions. One
Yeah.
is, how is the theory part? Like there's some theory because we're learning a lot of new terms. Maybe we have not been used to these terms in Power BI, right? So how are those terms covered?
So basically, there are like two types set of classes, I would say. Like inside the bootcamp, I feel there are two sets of classes that go on. One is part of theory, and the second is the case study. So in theory, like the instructor, Surya covers out the basic terms, the terminology, and the understanding of what is to be used into the case study. And then the same logics, the same fundamentals are implemented on a real-time basis project, real-time scenarios. And these scenarios are something actually that I've come across. In my personal experience, the first that I just showed across on the screen is that I've personally implemented. So I
Hmm.
would not say that these are not in use or these are just, like just the theory part of it. These
Right.
actually come into the, like the day-to-day working
Actual
of
exam.
a data
Okay.
engineer.
Gotcha. So, so assuming that somebody has gone through the training, they have implemented real case scenarios, portfolios, and you've done about 8 to 10 of them. You have a capstone project as well. So let's say
Hmm.
one has gone through all of this, and now one says, okay, let me see if there is some Fabric Data Days going on. There's this voucher available. Sometimes it is available if there's an event happening. It's available for 100% off. Sometimes it's a 50% off. Sometimes you have to pay for. So all kind of choices are there. So at what point should I decide I am now ready to appear for the exam? Because you need to have confidence. A lot of people ask us, hey, I have read it but I don't feel confident, and this boot camp probably made you confident enough to be able to apply for the exam. You felt that yes, I'm familiar with all the topics. But how uh, what was I mean, I just want to know a little bit of your truth, like when did you feel that okay, I think I'm ready?
Well, honestly, a person is never ready until and unless you actually schedule your exam. Like, I'm not sure about others, but that's how it came across for me. So the day I decided that, okay, no more delays, I need to be a data engineer, and like going through the classes and through the boot camps, case studies, it actually boosted up my confidence. See, I was able to relate to the topics. Like there are some practice assessments also that come across when you schedule your exam, and
Huh.
they also have this data documentations wherein you can go through those case studies, those documentation. And when I was reading those things, Arun, you would not believe me, I literally felt that there's nothing that I've not covered in the classes. That was one bonus point that I felt that when I joined the bootcamp, I did not really need to go through the extra resources listed out. It covered out everything, each and everything. So I was confident enough going through those resources the day after I scheduled my exam. And then when I gave the exam, like everyone else, I also had the exam jitters, but reading it once, reading it twice, reading it thrice, going through the
So,
topics over and again. So it was really an amazing experience.
so apart from these classes or the workshop, live interactive workshop, that's like about 4 days a week, and there are some
Mhm.
doubt clearing sessions occasionally held whenever students need it. Can you share with us um, how much extra time that you had to? Because obviously you have to practice, like whatever you've learned in the session, you're watching the recordings, you're practicing. How much time extra time did you need uh, to be up to date with most of the things taught? Because I know, Parul, you have been through several challenges. Uh, there have been, uh, in the family, there have been loved ones who are sick. Some family members you had to travel. You were yourself unwell for a little while. So given all these challenges, and I think that this can happen to anybody, right? So how did you cope up with the classes and the extra time that you had to spend?
Well, that was the mantra that, I got through the CEO leads. It is called the Sankalp. You have to take that sankalp that you have to be a data engineer. Trust me, there are days that you might miss due to a meeting, or you are sick, you forgot to got up, you did not ping up your alarm or something like that. But trust me, unless and until like totally give up on it, I don't see you failing to be a data engineer. So that sankalp was that thing that kept me motivated and still keeps me motivated to wake up at the class time and join it out and make sure that maybe if I missed one class, two class, but the third class I make sure that I do join.
So we have a lot of smart people in the COE, very very focused, like Nilay, Prachi Jain. I'm just naming just few of them. The names come to my mind. We have Sanjay Chandra. He's excellent. He's a Power BI architect and lead data engineer. We also have Vaishnavi Murli Krishnan. We have Ruby. We have many many good people. So we have Rashika. Um, so did how was your? We have Santosh, we have
Nagraj.
Pratipaka, we have Nagraj
Yeah.
Trikona, so many good Deepika. So how was your interaction with the community as a whole? Because it's not just about one boot camp. It's about like um, sharing and caring about each other, sharing a lot of knowledge. How was that interaction?
I would say when you are in a boot camp sort of a community and on a larger scale, a CEO community, everyone and each and every person is there to help you. No matter the timing. Like, honestly, on my personal experience, I have pinged people at around 2 a.m. in the morning in the IST timings and still received a response. And even I have pinged it at 10 p.m. for the US timing, so I've still received a response. So I would say the community as a whole is always and always welcoming. So it's, like this, that if a one person solves that doubt, it's just that person solving it out. But when you discuss it with your peers, it becomes two persons brainstorming on the same thing, and you learn just not maybe one thing, probably 10 more things alongside them. So it's
Nice.
always fruitful to have these discussions with your peers, with your leads, with your seniors. It's always a fruitful session that I've
So let's
had.
talk about the test itself, and I will take help from the audience as well, so that they can ask the questions. Guys, hey, if you guys have any questions in the audience, why don't you begin? I'll join you, or uh, we'll help each other. Let's ask questions to Parul about the test itself. So maybe something like how long it was, or what kind of questions. Even did the questions asked were asked from each topic, or some topics had more questions, something like that, right? So guys, uh add Salman, Sudeepta,
Hey,
if
I want to
anybody
go
has any.
first.
Yeah, sure.
Parul, this just to start off this, why did you choose to go with the DP600 first and then 700 later?
So this was related to the background that I come from. So I have had analytics experience with Power BI. So I was able to quickly relate to the topics that were in analytics. But to be a data engineer, I would say 700 is always and always your first priority.
So, how does this translate into, let's assume you are trying to move on to another role, you're doing a transition. Now, if you were to take the analytics exam, that is DP600, would that be good enough because you're already an analyst, you've already worked with Power BI? And how will this help if I'm just going to take one exam?
Well, see, there's a difference between DP600 and DP700. Okay. The name itself suggests is for the analytics purpose, and the other one is actually the data engineering purpose, right? So for the analytics people to do the DP600 is always a pro bono. But if you do DP700, that is the actual path wherein you follow into the steps of a data engineer. I hope
Understood.
that answers your question.
Yes, it is, Parul. Thank you.
You're like,
Fantastic. um Prem Sai, do you have any questions? Because we often do not give you a chance. You are the one who is organizing everything. So in case you have questions of your own, please ask.
Uh, yeah, I do. So I have a question regarding the fabric base from which, like, we can access the DP 700 examination.
Yeah.
So, so how many times can one enroll? And what is the minimum qualification for enrolling that? Because it would be more helpful for the aspirants who are currently looking to give the examination of TPA 700.
Sure, let me just share my screen also for that. Just give me 1 second. I'll just take you directly to the page. So basically, for the Fabric data days, you had to apply it online, and like first you have to request it through a form, watch their uh, sessions that they're doing it live. Second, that was the first step. Then the second step was to like complete the DP-600 or DP-700 module, the one that you're aiming for, and then the third step was to wait till the Fabric free voucher lands in your Fabric community message box.
So were you
Just
checking your inbox every day to figure out whether the voucher landed in your inbox? If
Yeah,
not,
for
then
the first
spam.
few days, I was checking my email, my junk emails, my Fabric community, and yes, finally I did have that. So, just to show you how does it look like, this is the first when you log in into your community fabric.microsoft.com with the email ID. This is the first screen that you get, and right in the here in the yellow ribbon, you request now, and then these are the eligibility details. So if I click on DP-600 or DP-700, since I've already claimed this request, my request was already submitted and it details it out. You have to join the Fabric community, you have to complete either DP-600 or DP-700 challenge, or you have to watch Fabric Data Days session live. And then you also have to commit to taking the exam by 31st of December, because the voucher itself expires on 31st December. That is the maximum date. But if you have received a voucher in the month of November, which was my case, it was expiring on November 30th itself, right? So the submission period ends on December 5, 11:59 Pacific time. Okay. But I think you guys still have 3 days to go for it. So make a run for it for sure. And if you
Oh,
guys still have any
thank you
doubts, you
for
can definitely
yeah,
reach
thank
out
you
to
for
me.
saying that because yeah, I mean people who haven't, I mean at least they can just log in and quickly, get the vouchers for free for some time. I'm sure that Microsoft will have other events coming in the future where if you
Yes.
and they might have it for 50% off or they might even have it for 100% off. They keep having events multiple times in a year. So that way you save some money. That's a
Yes.
good advice,
Like
Parul.
for PL 300, these guys are offering, I think, 50% off. I'm not sure if it's here. Yeah. DP 900 and PL 300. These guys also did run the campaign. For it's a 50% off that's going on.
Yeah, that was a great question, Prem, because I think people want to understand the basic logistics, and there are a lot of people who ask, "Hey, where do I get the voucher from?" Or do I pay something? Is it free? All have had many questions. Um, do we have Disha here? Disha's gone. Salman, I know that you are joining the boot camp. Is there anything that comes to your mind that you would like to ask? So Parul Salman is working as a senior Power BI developer, and he has been very keen. He has registered, and maybe he's not able to speak up. That's okay. But is there any do's and don'ts for the exam or the how best to take advantage of the boot camp? Like, are there some things that you should do, should not do? Are there something for the exam that you should do or not do? Any tips from your side?
Sure. So I would say the bootcamp itself offers one plus thing, that's the Anki. Through that you are able to prepare better for your exams. That is how it actually helped me be confident while I was preparing for my DP 600 and DP 700. So that really helped me clear my exam. So once you get to know more about Anki during your classes, I would say make sure you make a run for it and you actually do it. You won't miss out on the exam for sure.
And our Vaishnavi Murli Krishnan is raising her hand, so we will ask her what her question is or comment is.
Sure.
Yes. Um, I'm sure with DP 600 and 700, not everything would have been easier to understand. So the first question is, what was your toughest concept or practice that you had to take? And my second question is, did you make any mistakes that you would advise for future exam candidates that, I made this, so please don't make it. So that sort of thing.
Sure. So to answer your first question, like the most difficult topic I would say was the Mendelian architecture for me, because you get to understand how to build an end-to-end pipeline, and then you actually land up into the, I would say, the data dictionary of Fabric. That's data warehouse, lake houses, one lake, notebooks. That gets too confusing. But trust me, when I went through the concepts again, I did three revisions for it. And I think by the third revision, I was pretty much clear that, okay, this is what happens in this is what happens in this. And by then, I was confident enough that, okay, I surely should not mess up. And the one mistake that I did while preparing, I think it would be like getting distracted. Like, let's say, if I am, like I set aside 1 hour of it, and in case I am getting a doorbell or something, so I used to get up from my studies, and that was one thing that I felt that I need to
I
work
remember
more
you were
on,
doing,
like
you
focusing.
had to, you, because of your personal situation, you had to travel a lot in between. So, and
Yes,
you fell sick also for a day or two, something like that, right? So, those
yes,
were your challenges that I have noticed that you've had.
it truly was challenging time.
So, Parul, what version of the N95 mask is good to avoid getting flu or fever?
Well, I can definitely send you a picture on WhatsApp if you want a recommendation.
Alrighty. Uh, s- so, uh, so Parul, this exam roughly, just to confirm, how many questions does it have for either of the exams? And what's I mean, did you find it this the duration was sufficient, or like for example, if an exam is 2 hours, are you is it enough time?
Yes, like if you go through the questions, how the questions are framed, how the case studies are done, like if you no, like attempt it in the correct way of how you need to attempt the questions, you would definitely have ample time on it. Like the exam is of approximately 1 hour 45 minutes, I think, 45 minutes or 50 minutes, and then you have almost 48 to 50 questions to answer depending upon the exam, right? DP 600, DP 700. And I think the time is more than sufficient. I had approximately almost 30 minutes on my hands extra.
Yeah, I think that is very consistent with what other people have been telling us. Nobody felt that they were rushed or they were not able to complete something. There was enough time to even like uh, mark the questions and look out for, they want to give it a second look. So yeah,
Yeah,
people had time.
it's very easy to review your questions, like even to change your answers if you feel that, oh my God, this question, I think I marked it wrong. It's very easy to change your answers or review them. You can just mark it for review.
Well, I know another COE lead, Sanjay. Sanjay had described the type of questions asked in the exam. For example, you have some dread questions, you have some drag and drop questions, you have some spot questions. So he had described in detail. I think we have a video which we'll share with people on the
Hmm.
type of questions asked.
That
But
was very helpful.
and of course there were some case studies. So there were maybe 6 to 7 case study questions. So, did you find a certain type of a question more difficult than others? For example, I know because I've been giving some exams myself in the past, and the case study questions are basically too long. It usually takes more time than a standard question. So, what was your
Yes.
what's your feedback or take on it?
So for the case studies, Arun, the only thing that is at that point of time, you do not need to worry about a time limit or the mental pressure that, oh my God, I need to read it quickly to answer the questions. Like that is what came to my mind when I was doing my first case study in DP-600 itself. So I had gone through the case studies because even one word in the case study might make the change in the how you look at the question and the answer. So going through the case study is definitely very important. But the questions, that come up after the case study, they are very, like relatable and very easy to answer. That's what I have felt. It's just that you need to read that case study very carefully.
Is there any, some people have asked us, is there any negative marking on the exam?
No, no, there's no negative marking on it. It's rather you can leave it unanswered, you can leave it answered, you can mark it for review.
So, so let me ask you a whole different question. It is nothing related to the exam. So to be successful in this field, whether it is an analytics engineer or a data engineer, can you share with me what is your opinion on the top three or four things that everybody should do to have a good chance?
So probably I'm also in one of the learning phases, Arun, I would say.
For
Because
example,
life,
I mean, do you you know, you did a portfolio, you did mock sessions, you did some other things, you did projects, so you have done basically most of the things that are needed for to be successful. But which ones do you think are beneficial? Two or three things that are really beneficial for any aspirant or learner.
so I would say, Arun, like first of all is the basic fundamentals of all the topics. By topics, I do not mean the literal topics. I mean the topics that actually build up the backbone of data engineering.
Hmm.
Right from what does one lake mean to delivering an end-to-end project via the bronze layer, silver layer, and the gold layer. So you need to know all the fundamentals without which you cannot and absolutely definitely not make it through the data engineering path. So first things is that. Then the second thing is when you are doing your case study or your projects or your client workups, you need to make sure that you do not only just do it for the sake of doing it, you actually understand what you are doing it and why you are doing it. Because tomorrow you need to have a justification that why did you because there are many different approaches to the similar problem. So why did you take approach one? Not why not the approach two? And why not the approach three? You should be so thorough with the concepts. And then third
Gotcha.
of all, having a portfolio was is and always will be a cherry on the top. That's what I feel.
Thank you so much for that. Parul, one generic question that some people ask us, and this has nothing to do with the fabric or the exam, but people ask us, we've seen Parul or we've seen Nilay or we've seen Sanjay and other people. Some people have done, they are good at fabrics, and at the same time, just like yourself, you're good at data bricks, also Azure data bricks. So, people like Nagaraj has done it, and some other people. So, how does uh, how does when you have learned one technology very well, but you also know the other technology, is it helpful in today's market? Do you
It's
advise that
very
people
helpful.
should go for both, or they should stick with one, or what's the how do I decide? I mean, whether I want to go for data breaks or do I want to go for fabric? What do I do first, or should I do both? So I get a lot of these kind of questions these days. So what is your perception?
So my perception is I have done Azure Databricks as well and also the Fabric. So I have seen in Azure and Databricks, it's a little complicated, not as in the complication of understanding, but more like how you use it. And if I compare it to the Fabrics is pretty easy to use. So it's like a one-stop solution for everything. If I have to describe Fabric, It's like an airport hub, you could say. You have different routes, you have different terminals, but in the end, everything is related and connected to that central hub. So for me to learn fabrics was relatively easy. Probably I had done Azure and Databricks, or probably because I was able to connect the dots. So
Yeah,
for me,
we
learning
have done
both
few
goes
seminars.
hand in hand.
Yeah, we have done few seminars in the past where we have talked about, how the use cases of both are slightly different. If there's heavy workloads, really heavy workloads, Databricks is great there. Similarly,
Yes.
if somebody belongs to a um, if they are already using a lot of Microsoft technologies and they are making investments in Microsoft technologies, then those companies use a lot of Microsoft Fabric, or if they have used Azure in the past and they think that Fabric is the good thing to bring in. But majority of the companies, like big players in the market, they use both. So as a consultant, we tell them, don't get married to one or the other. I mean, your mind should be open that, hey, I know X, I know Y as well, and I'm able to, like, if you're a candidate for the job market, right? Then you are able to, as in a very simple way, think, hey, I can apply to both places, more opportunities for me, more money for me. If I'm diversified, that's the best thing. And I strongly recommend. And I would take maybe some thoughts from Vaishnavi here. Vaishnavi, you went ahead and did Azure Cloud Mastery in depth. So can you, if you're listening, could you share with us, like, why this Azure Cloud Mastery? You learned about 40 plus services with Aradhya. So what was your motivation there? Because you did Fabric, got certified in 700, but you decided to pursue an in-depth program in Azure services. Can you explain that?
Yes, of course. Um, so my work is very much centered around on-premises services. Now, moving to public cloud, Azure is the major vendor that organizations go for. Now, with my background with Fabric, companies that are shifting to fabrics are often in the Azure ecosystems themselves, and they are looking to integrate fabric into their workflows. So, with my background with Azure, I believe be it would just take my profile to the next level, because learning about 40 plus services with Azure is directly it directly maps to my fabric experience, because you also learn about the data factory, you learn about databases, you learn about network, you learn about DB configurations. So all these experiences is not just isolated with Azure services. Fabric also has elements of it. Fabric also has places where it needs to evolve. So in that sense, this Azure Mastery Program with Aradhya has been a, it has been greatly helpful for me to understand fabric architecture as well. It is complementary in one way, and second, I was more focused on my transition and my career profile and taking it to the advanced levels. And I believe organizations need people who have an understanding of Azure as well as fabric, if they are still in migration process, or if they are integrating, then I would be someone I would be the go-to person for them, because I have experience with both.
Perfect. So not only you are a data engineer, but you can also have opportunities in the cloud engineering, cloud support, cloud infrastructure, cloud this and cloud that. There are more than 145 plus titles available. So I get that. I see your motivation. Um,
Yes. And frankly, I want to lead projects and not just engineer them. So that was my biggest motivation to master Azure. And especially with Aradhya, he's making this process, he's making this learning, made this learning so easier and smooth. Yeah, that's what I wanted to add up.
Hey, on a side note, Vaishnavi, I'm thinking that couple people were asking about in fabrics class. They were asking about, hey, can I get Aradhya to do a small session on Azure boards or Azure DevOps? So please, if you can, please remind him that. Please help us organize a session, especially for the fabric batch on Azure board, uh, and that will be very helpful because we gave an extra class to them about agile methodology, how it is used in data engineering, and what are some of the artifacts. I think in yesterday or day before we elaborated on that, so that would be helpful. It just because you know how I can have a senior moment and forget everything. So I often tell it to someone so that they can help me out with that.
Yes, Arun. Yes, Arun. I will take this forward because honestly, I cannot believe that this hasn't been done already. So, yeah, I will take it up with Aradhya immediately.
All right, thank you so much. So back to Singla, or I call her Singham. So back to Singham. Does anybody have any? We are about to wrap up, guys. So does
I
anybody
think
have any last
Sushlabdha
minute
has
question?
some question to ask.
Yeah, go ahead, Shrishita. Uh,
Hi, Parul.
because
Hi.
Yeah, so the question I had is like how much time of investment you are doing on daily or weekly basis to finishing the assignments, and then within how much time frame you completed the certification?
So, like looking at the time frames of Sushlabdha, I have invested almost an hour minimum, 2 hours or 3 hours daily for the assignments and the daily classes, I have to say. But if I come out to the preparation part of it, to be honest, for TP600, I had spent 3-4 days revising my concepts, doing the going through the documentation that's recommended by the Microsoft itself, and then for the DP700, I did take 5-6 days because data engineering was something that is definitely a plus for me to like prepare more on so that I make sure that I clear it.
Shrishita, I'll tell you a fun thing, okay? Which I think all girls who are listening to this recording should tell their better halves in case they are married, or husbands, or friends, or other people in the family. Um, Typically, in the case of a lady, the men have different kind of issues. They have, they are helping out a lot of people. They have totally different issues. Women in classes, typically lady or women, they have issues where we need the entire family to support them. They should know that they're going through the exam. So if people are listening to me on the recording later on, they should the men should understand that. For example, if let's say Lakshmi is there, let's say somebody, it could be anybody, Kaveri, Yamuna, Ganga. These are all girls' names that I've just invented. So if their husbands are there, they should maybe help in a little bit of cooking, cleaning, all the house chores, so that the wife can focus on the study during that time. The 4 days a week, they have to be very supportive. They can partner in the housework so that the other person, the other whosoever, whether it's a man or a woman, they need to help each other, right? And similarly, the kind of when I give my exam, for example, I lock myself for some times in a particular room, and I make sure that I may have birthdays and parties and travel and whatnot. There are so many things come up. I try to stay as non-distracted as possible when I have to take any when I'm on a mission. So I take the sankalpa which Parul talked about. I make sure that even before I join, I know that there'll be events coming up, situations coming up, but I look at all the risks that are there, and I do not allow them to turn into issues. I make sure that I help everybody around me understand that this is what I'll be doing. Here are my time commitments. Here's what I need support in. And I believe all men and women, regardless of what gender you are, and I'm talking to particularly the men, they should be supporting. Is we have seen a lot of people some people have children and they need attention as well. So people who have children, one of the partners or somebody in the family can help, because it's just 1 hour, right, every day. So unless we are all helping each other, we are not going to be successful. We will always be either lagging behind or something else is going on. And we are lucky to have uh, Parul was able to work through her illness and travel and other things, and she still became successful. So that is not an easy thing to do, and Parul has been able to accomplish that. So again, a lot of congratulations to Parul. She is Singham. All right.
Thank you.
Um, So, guys, unless you have any other questions, I will. I'm about to wrap up. If you do have any last minute questions, please do ask. But Singla, you know her LinkedIn ID. She's a part of the group in the COE, and she will be available to you offline. You can set up a time, respect the time, talk to her during that time, come up with specific questions, like one or two specific questions. Don't say, "Hi, friend, how are you? What's going on?" Those are the questions that are silly questions. Come up, come up to anybody, like whether it's a man or a woman, come up to them and say, introduce yourself first and say, "Hey, my name is so and so. I've had a question about this. I have two questions, number one and number two. What is your view or your opinion on that?" And that's how professional respond back to you in a better way. Otherwise, if you just call from a generic ID and say, "Hey, I want to be a friend," all that you're going to get as a boot in the wrong places. And that's the truth, Parul, right? I mean, it happens to a lot of us, both men and women.
Makes it easy to conversate, Arun, like to understand what the actual person is, like seeking for. It actually gives us an idea to guide them on the right thing.
Correct. So, guys, one last time, anybody, any questions? Going once, twice, thrice. Thank you. All right. So Parul will be available to us, like I said, and we hope that Parul, we are counting on her to mentor. She has been mentoring a lot of people already in data analytics, data engineering, business analysis, lot of things. And we hope that along with the other COE leaders, she'll continue to mentor a lot of people and keep sharing her wonderful experiences. And hopefully, guys, we learn a lot from you guys as well. You come up with your difficulties, your questions, your concerns, anything, or how to make COE a better place to interact. All those kind of things are most welcome, and you can speak to any one of the leads like Parul Singla. Thank you so much, guys. Parul, thank you for being here. I know that just like all of us, you have to be in the office, and then you are working with this meeting, and then you have to do your house chores like cooking and dinner. And so I wish that you have a great dinner. Thank you so much. And thank you to your family as well for supporting you. Alrighty. Thank you. Bye bye. Bye,
Thank
guys.
you. Good night, everyone. Bye.
Good night, Paro.